Thank you for having me, Wasbir.
Welcome. Pleasure is mine. Mr. Pradip Burman, you recently put up a social media post where you demanded revision of the national anthem to represent, to include all those unrepresented regions of the country. Now, my question is, why have you decided to raise this demand at this juncture?
First of all, Wasbir, I've not demanded, I've suggested that why wouldn't it be possible to have a part of Northeast included in the national anthem, especially when there are enough foreign powers trying to take away our land, especially in the Northeast, when there is enough alienation happening from the people of the Northeast. It was my suggestion, why can't we have a word, maybe Kamrup, maybe Brahmaputra, maybe the kingdoms of Manipur or Tripura, or for that matter, Subansri, or something like that, a word, a single word, which will encompass the Northeast in the national anthem. It was a suggestion. People have a right to suggest. People have a right to reject also a suggestion.
Right.
But to see this entire furor after I suggested it by people who are ignorant or who claim to be ignorant or who claim to be chauvinist is very unfortunate. But this is not the first time I have demanded this, and I will continue to demand not only inclusion of a word, a suggestion of a word from Northeast in the national anthem, also for a separate time zone, not for any jingoistic or rhetorical reason. If we have a separate time zone, the sun rises earlier in the east for work productivity.
Right. Now, you see, that means we will talk about the reaction to your suggestion slightly later, but let's try to understand from you as to why you have come up with this idea now. Now, are you saying the Northeast must find mention in the national anthem, and if necessary, the Constitution should be amended to have that?
From whatever I know about the Constitution, it has been amended many times. Lastly, when the Citizenship Amendment Act happened.
Yeah.
But even in regard to the national anthem was a lot longer. It has been concise to 52 seconds for ceremonies. There is a word in the national anthem called Sindh, which does not even belong to India. I see it as no harm that it continues. All I'm saying it is that there have been precedences in different countries. Let's say, for the example, in Australia, where the national anthem was modified or certain things were incorporated for larger integration. I am suggesting, as a proud Indian, as a proud person from the Northeast, as a proud indigenous person from the Northeast, I am not demanding exclusion of any word, be it Bonga, be it Utkala, be it Sindh. All I am saying is there, can I suggest that we include some part of Northeast, because we also have a great history, the Northeast, we also have a culture and identity, and there are enough people who feel alienated. Maybe a word in the national anthem which mentions Kamrup, Brahmaputra, Kamakhya, Tripura, Manipur. I mean, one word. I'm not asking for the whole of Northeast. I'm just saying one word which will make us feel, is Rashtrageet mein bhi hamara zikr ho raha hai. It's a suggestion. If people don't like it, please explain why. But how is it anti-national? I fail to understand that.
Okay, now you see, we must also understand, Mr. Pradip Burman, that the great poet, Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore wrote Bharata Bhagya Vidhata in 1911, and this song was first sung at the Calcutta session of the Indian National Congress. Now, the Northeast was not even an entity then. Northeast was nothing but Assam those days. And of course, the song, as we all know, was adopted as the national anthem by the Constituent Assembly on the 24th of January, 1950. Now, a lot of people would like to say that, when Rabindranath Tagore wrote the song, the Northeast was not an entity. It was only Assam, nothing beyond that. So, do you think that argument holds logic?
Well, if they think so, then fine, but I have a different view. I think the national anthem was also written on the visit, was also presented as Adhinayak Jaya Hai, Adhinayak meaning King George, when he came to India. So the fact is that I have a lot of respect for Rabindranath Tagore, and I continue to have a lot of respect. In fact, our family has a very long-standing relationship. And one should not see it as a criticism of the great Nobel laureate Ravi Thakur. it should be seen as that he had no idea what would be the composition of India in 1950. Now, or in the case of Sikkim in 1973-74. The fact is that I am suggesting, can there be a mention? It is a suggestion. I mean, why should this suggestion be seen as anti-national? That's my fundamental question. If I, as a proud Indian, say I want my region's name to be in the national anthem, how can that be seen by certain stubborn nationalists as anti-national? I mean, I think there is nothing more patriotic than someone from Northeast saying, I want a mention of my region, my land, my history, my culture. And when I say my, I don't stick necessarily to Tripura. I'm saying include Brahmaputra, include Kamrup, include any part. But just do it so that, see, today China is trying to take away our territory. China wants parts of Sikkim, parts of Arunachal. Wouldn't it be great if we had it in our national anthem that this is already ours?
Yeah, we'll go into all of that, Pradut. You see, basically, several people have voiced since your post last week. Several people have voiced their opinion in the social media. Many of them said that your suggestion or demand to revise the national anthem amounted to insulting Rabindranath Tagore. You have already clarified. But why do you think people are getting this impression that your suggestion amounts to insulting the great poet?
Maybe because it's Pradyut saying it. Maybe because I oppose the Citizenship Amendment Act. Maybe because I wanted NRC. So maybe people have already looked at me and said that this man is against a certain community, which is not the case. The case is that we've actually revered, in fact, Rabindranath Tagore got more recognition in his lifetime from the state of Tripura by my ancestors, whether it was my grandfather or his father or my great-grandfather. Rabindranath Tagore got more respect from our family than even in his home state. Shanti Niketan was funded by the Tripura Treasury. I still hold Rabindranath Tagore and his entire work and his legacy in high esteem. My criticism is not towards the great Nobel laureate. My suggestion, see, there's a difference in a suggestion. People have a right to reject my suggestion. But when there is a photograph which comes out, which makes the whole of Northeast. There's a photograph which has come out. Wasbir, I hope you will show it to your audience when this talk comes out. There is an entire photograph which has come out which shows the entire Northeast as Himachal and a part of Tripura as Bongo, and says this is the meaning of the national anthem. I take offense to that picture. And because that picture had come out, I suggested, maybe it's high time.
But yeah, true. I take your point, Mr. Pradut Debarman. But why should we give so much importance to a certain picture? Because if you look at the map, if you look at the map of India, it has got different variations. Whether it is in China, whether it is in Pakistan, on and off. These people who are not great friends of our country always tries to play politics over the map.
Yes. And that's why I'm saying that our map should be more encompassing. I mean, if you see that picture, they have, are you a Himachali, Wasbir? Doesn't Assam have a culture, a composite culture, which is way older than that of the India that we know of? Assam has a history. Tripura has a history. Please let me say one thing. When we say that there was no Northeast before India came, yes, Northeast had a huge kingdom. There was a civilization. I believe in the Indian civilization. And when I suggested, you have a word called Sindh, which is not even in India. And you don't want to include a part of India. So why? What is the harm?
Right. So you see, your basically argument is that at a time, you also mentioned it slightly short while ago, at a time when China has demonstrated its aggressive posturing towards India, that includes northeastern states like Sikkim. They were aggressive in Sikkim as well. They have been on and off aggressive in Arunachal Pradesh as well, transgressions and so on. It has become all the more relevant, your demand to make the Northeast find mention in the national anthem. Is that your argument?
Wasbir, let me say one more thing. Digressing slightly from what you have said.
Yeah.
I am considered anti-national by some for suggesting that why can't we have a part of Northeast included in the national anthem. But there is a map called Google Maps, which if you go outside India, will show parts of Kashmir as occupied, parts of Arunachal is not even shown as a part of India. That is okay. Those people will not be hauled up. But when I suggest something as a patriot, then I am considered an anti-national by a few sections. I think that this opposition to me is nothing but political. I think this people who oppose what I have said, they can disagree with me. But to call a suggestion like this anti-national, I think is a very sad day. You know, people are not applying their minds, and I think they're very uncomfortable that people from the Northeast are speaking out for their dignity and for their recognition. Where is the harm? Where is the harm if a word like Brahmaputra or Khanglai Pak or Tripura or Ahom or Kamak, I mean anything, is included in the national anthem? The Indian constitution has been amended many times. Ambedkar's constitution himself has been amended. If I suggest something, you have every right to reject it. You have every right to throw it out in the dustbin. But don't at least call the person, at least differentiate between a patriot and an anti-national.
On that note, I go for a short break, but don't go away. I'll be right back in conversation with the Tripura Royal Fan, Pradyut Debbarman. Welcome back. I'm in conversation with the Tripura Royal Fan, the Maharaja Pradyut Debbarman, on issues concerning the national anthem and lots more. Now, to what extent are you prepared to push your case? Are you going to see, now this is a social media post that you had given. Now, are you going to push it further? Are you going to approach the government of India? Are you going to write a letter to the Prime Minister of this country? Are you going to write a letter to the President of India? Are you going to approach the Union Home Minister? What are your plans?
My plans are that I have put this debate in the social media. I have put this debate. When I personally meet the Prime Minister, I will also request him. When I personally meet the Home Minister of India, I'll also personally request him. But my point is, the threat to India today is not from China, is not from Pakistan or from any neighboring country, but is from the amount of stupidity and stubbornness in the way you shoot down a positive suggestion. And second thing, I'd also subsequent to this, I'd also raised that you all are covering. I'm very happy that at least the media is in the regional media, like your channel, is covering the floods in Assam. Is covering. There's been 8 earthquakes in Mizoram in the last 1.5 months.
Much more than that. Yes.
There's been rape in Tripura of a 17-year-old girl. The rapes are on the rise. I question the national media. I question the national media on why aren't you covering? Even that is seen as anti-national.
Let me ask you, Mr. Pradyut Debbarman. From what you are saying, you seem to be angry at the so-called national media for not covering major news stories from the region like the floods in Assam. My question to you, Mr. Pradyut Debbarman, why should you be bothered? You yourself own a media outlet. We are covering our region well. We means our channel as well. Apart from many other media outlets in the country, we are covering our region well and making all the right noises. So why bother about national media? And by the way, Mr. Pradyut Debbarman, my personal opinion, if you ask me today, I call the so-called national media as metropolitan media, because if they do not cover a large region like the Northeast, they have lost their own right to call themselves national media. That is my personal view, and therefore I always use the term metropolitan media. Now my question, why are you so bothered if the national media is not covering?
Then these so-called national media जो prime time में जो आते हैं ना, they should stop telling us कि ये India है, they should stop giving us lectures on patriotism. They should stop lecturing us from Delhi and thinking, I believe that New Delhi is not India or Bombay is not India. There is floods in Assam, people are dying. There are earthquakes in Mizoram, which is a very serious issue. Are we ready in case of a natural disaster? There's been a rape in Tripura, many rapes in Tripura. ओपन daylight, and the national media क्या करता है? सुशांत सिंह के आत्मा से बात, टिकटॉक को बैन, रिया चक्रवर्ती, I mean, बॉलीवुड आराध्या बच्चन को अस्पताल में डाला गया. Is this the level of journalism? And then they call themselves national media? High time, I agree with you. They should not even be called metropolitan media. They should be called entertainment media. And they should stop lecturing us.
Let's not go into the debate. My question is, we are talking. You raised the issue. Why is the media, so-called national media,
so I am bothered.
Not covering the region? Not covering. My question is, I'm sure you will agree that the NDA government under Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given a lot of attention to the Northeast. The Prime Minister has himself visited the region more than 40 times in the past 6 years. You agree to that, isn't it?
So why isn't the media then covering that? Is Sushant Singh Rajput's
No. Let's not. My question is not on the media. My question is: do you agree or do you not that the NDA government under Prime Minister Narendra Modi is giving so much of attention and focus on the northeastern region in the last 6 years?
I welcome it. I definitely welcome what Prime Minister Modi has done by his visits to the Northeast.
Yes.
I also am a personal beneficiary for the fact that they have come and rehabilitated our Riang refugees in Tripura. They named an airport after my grandfather. I'm grateful for that. My question is, I am not attacking a government. I am attacking the attitude of the so-called nationalistic people who view upon Northeast from a soft story point of angle. You want to invite a chief minister to a conclave. You will give him a guitar and say, "Guitar bajao, aap to Northeast se ho." You will tell a chief minister to do push-ups. You will tell someone, "Oh, aap Northeast se ho, aapko momo pasand hoga." Don't generalize us, yeah. I mean, we also have a culture. We also have a history.
Okay.
So my point was, let me come back. Nobody is politicizing the attitude. The attitude towards Northeast has been the same in the last 70 years. Nobody is trying to politicize that.
Let me take this issue look at this issue from a little broader perspective, Pradip Burman. Until recently, you were yourself in active politics. You were the Congress president in Tripura before you quit the party. My question is it a collective failure of our MPs and our political leaders? They are unable to shed petty party differences and project the region and its problems well before the nation. The MPs, we are sending them to focus the problems, isn't it, in the broader national platform, both within and outside Parliament.
I completely agree with you, Wasbir. I think MPs who go to Delhi starts becoming spokesperson for Delhi to Northeast. Instead, they should have been spokesperson from the Northeast to New Delhi. The fact is that our political system has been now largely become reduced to people who actually tow the New Delhi point of view rather than the regional point of view. And I think you are very right. I think jab tak we do not speak in a voice which is, if you look at the South, they come together. When there is a Kaveri water dispute, they come together on the interest of the state. If you see, if you see in Bengal, when Pranab Mukherjee became nominated for the president, the entire Bengal got together. Maharashtra, when Pratibha Patil was, they all got, irrespective of party lines, even Shiv Sena said we will back them. Yahan mein we still think, oh, New Delhi, what will our masters say in Delhi? I think it's time. You got elected. Our MPs got elected from the votes of our own people, not from New Delhi. So it's high time that our people start, at least for their own self-respect, start speaking for the region and start speaking it very openly, and instead of being scared. I agree with you. I completely agree with you here.
No, again, the Northeast is the only region in the country where every community has a student organization, student group representing it. Besides, of course, there are again the apex student groups, student group like the Northeast Students Organization. In Assam, the apex student group is the All Assam Students Union. In Nagaland, the apex student group is the Naga Students Federation, and so on. Now, do you think these student groups have also failed to project the Northeast and get its problems due national limelight?
I think that's because we outlive our student years. I think there has to be a retirement age for politicians. There has to be a retirement age for MLAs, MPs, and there should be a retirement age for student leaders also. Because at some point, everyone starts looking at their own interests rather than the people's interest. Especially if you are continuing to be a student leader, you should have an age limit, like it should be for a public servant or for any public representative. I believe that there are very genuine leaders who, the Chief Minister of Assam was a student leader himself. Praful Kumar Mahanta was a student leader himself. I know that there are many leaders from Arunachal, from Tripura, from Manipur, from Nagaland. But I think at some point, we have, as student leaders, I was myself a student leader, I think at some point we have to be honest and we have to admit that we have failed our people. At some juncture, we have.
So basically, there has to be a collective rethinking, whether it is the political class, whether it is the student leaders and the civil society. We need to rethink how we have failed our region. We have not been able to raise the issues concerned and bring it national focus.
So this is where nobody takes responsibility, Wasbir. If the student has failed, does not mean that till the student leader does not admit his failure, the MP or MLA will not admit his. Or for that matter, me. Everybody has to take responsibility for what they are doing and for their own actions. I cannot wait, jab tak ASU maafi nahi mangega, Tripura Students Federation maafi nahi mangega, KSU maafi nahi mangega. I think we have to be accountable for our own actions and not wait for somebody else to say sorry, then I will jump into the bandwagon. We have to be brave here and we have to stand up for our own ground.
Right. Now you see, many would also say that nobody bothers because we have only 25 MPs in parliament representing 8 states with a population of 45 million. That is also the argument. We have only 25 MPs. We have got 8 states. We have got 45 million people. So nobody bothers about us. So do you think that is a justified way to look at it?
No. I don't think so. First of all, if you take the Rajya Sabha also, we have much more than, I think we're 39, I think. And second thing is that we actually, the region has more MPs than, let's say, Kashmir. Why is everybody fixated with Kashmir? We have more MPs than Punjab. There was a time when Punjab was in the national limelight. Goa has a chief minister who becomes a defense minister of India. From Northeast, we will probably only have a donor minister or a sports minister. So the fact is that I don't think our region is taken seriously on 2 counts. One, it is too far away from Delhi and उनको लगता है अरे ये तो अपने नॉर्थ ईस्ट के हैं, इनको गिटार दे दो, इनको थोड़ा सा हल्का से ले लो. एंड आवर लीडर्स जो दिल्ली जाके सर हाँ सर आपको अपना नॉर्थ ईस्ट का खाना खिलाएगा सर आप मेरा वहां में आइए ना, बहुत अच्छा खूबसूरत. So I am telling you, I have seen it.
Let's not generalize.
I'll tell you. No, I am generalizing because we get generalized. No, so why can't I generalize that? Now my point is that the problem lies in them not taking us seriously and we not conducting ourselves with dignity when we go up there. It has to be a balance of both. इज्जत देने से इज्जत मिलता है, इज्जत से काम करने से इज्जत भी मिलता है. So you cannot just say it's one way or another.
Are you in favor of a quick delimitation of constituencies and creation of more parliamentary seats in the region so as to represent the 8 states perhaps better?
I believe that the delimitation should be on the basis of geography and not basis of population. Otherwise, we will only have Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, maybe West Bengal and maybe Madhya Pradesh deciding the fate of the entire country.
Now, in the end, do you think there is still a lot of scope to create a nationwide awareness campaign on the Northeast and its people? Is lack of awareness also one of the reasons?
No, I think Prime Minister, as you rightly said, has come 40 times. There have been steps taken. I think the Bodoland Accord has been re-signed. The Brew Accord was done. I believe that there are institutions which are coming up. Yeah. So the fact is not awareness. I think people need to start realizing that Northeast is an integral part of India. Mind my language. It's an integral part of India, not a strategic part of India. As long as we look at Northeast from Bangladesh सामने है, trade कर सकते, China उधर में है, Burma यहाँ में, you have to look at Northeast as an integral part of India.
No, that is obvious. That is obvious. Northeast has to be regarded or looked upon as an integral part of India. But a lot of people also argue that lot of people, Pradut, lot of people also argue that the thousands and thousands of our students, young boys and girls who go to metropolitan cities to pursue higher education or even to work, they stay within themselves. A lot of people accuse them of staying in ghettos, not mixing or trying to assimilate, try to mix up with the people from the rest of the country. That is also an allegation.
Yes, it's a fair allegation. I can also make a similar allegation. People who have come from outside are largely confined to a region in Northeast. Ghettoization takes place everywhere whenever you feel alienated. It is not applicable only to the students from the Northeast. I know many localities where a certain community will speak or where a certain community will stay. I know there are localities in Bombay where there is only Gujaratis only. So let's not say that when you feel alienated, when you feel isolated, you do ghettoize yourself. A religious community has been called ghettoized after partition. For what reason? For the same reason. So let's not say that it's only applicable on Northeasterners. I know there are many localities where there are only Nepalis. I know many localities where there are only Biharis. You cannot say, oh, why are they not mixing? The fact is, whenever you are away from your own community, there is a consolidation of community. It could be out of fear, it could be out of comfort, it could be out of alienation. But it cannot be only strictly pointed towards the community from Northeast.
So my final question to you, then how do you move ahead? Because even today, more than 70 years after independence, we still face racism. People still don't know much about the Northeastern region. What is the road ahead then?
I think there are parties in the Northeast like NPP which have people in the parliament. I think NPF has a MP there. I think they should bring out a private members bill asking for, there is an ST-SC Act, but I think a racism bill should be put in place. And I think people should realize that racism does exist in India. It does not only exist vis-a-vis the Northeasterners, it also exists for mainlanders who have come and stayed in Northeast and also get treated badly. Let's be very fair. I'm not going to play a victim here. There are wrongs being done on both sides. And last point, Wasbir, I'm again saying it. It took a Pradyot Burman to speak for Assam. I wish there would come a time when someone from Assam would speak for Tripura and someone from Tripura would speak for Arunachal and vice versa. The fact is, when people like us say, why can't you include a word from Northeast in the national anthem, it should not be seen as anti-national. I think we are talking to underground groups, you're talking to militant groups, but when a person like me speaks for an inclusion and not for a deletion of any word. I didn't ask for a deletion of the word Bongo or for that any matter Himachal or Purvanchal or Utkal. And they have taken it as anti-national. So I hope that people don't hide behind rhetoric.
Absolutely. I take your point. I really don't know who are these people who are calling you anti-nationals. I think they are not people. I mean, I don't know whether they're talking seriously or not. But
and on a lighter note, yeah. I will take your word and I will stop calling them national media. I will start calling them metropolitan media or maybe Delhi media.
I will say I would like to prefer the word metropolitan media with no offense meant to anybody because they're not covering the Northeastern region. They are fit to be called metropolitan media. Pradyot Burman, once again, thank you very much indeed for being on my show. You have been as candid and passionate on issues concerning the Northeast as always. Thank you very much once again.
Belai no hambai.